Hey, my name's Rusty Corhonen and I've got a story for you. You ever have something happen that kind of teaches you something and prepares you for something that you experience down the road? Well, that happened to me. My grandpa had this beautiful wooden boat. It was a 1957 Dunphy made in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And we used to take it out on Lake Michigan to go fishing. It's still in the family. We actually took it out of my grandpa's garage not too long ago. The engine had a huge mouse nest in it, but other than that, the boat is dry. There's no rot. It's in perfect shape. I loved fishing on Lake Michigan, and I was always begging my grandpa to take me, but there was always something wrong. I think he used it maybe as an excuse to not go. Well, one time I got up to the cabin, and he says, "You want to go fishing Lake Michigan?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I got new motor, but I need help with steering." I got under the steering wheel and got the cables all set up. He hands me a screwdriver and a wrench and told me what had to happen, and I fixed it. So we test it, it's working. The next morning he meets me with a cup of coffee. He says, "Let's go fishing." We head out to the big lake. We launch the boat, turns the motor on. He backs off out of the boat launch and turns the wheel left, and the boat goes right. He said, you crossing cables?" I said, "What?" "I did what you told me to do." He says, "No, you got crossing cables. Otherwise steering go backwards. Fix it. So he shuts the engine off. He gives me a wrench and a screwdriver. I go under there, I'm working on it. We got it fixed up. I come up and we're already outside the pier heads. He fires up the engine, everything works fine. Fast forward, my dad bought a 41-foot CNC, beautiful sailboat. Well, one year I was old enough and my dad had a lot of work going on. He asked me if I would be willing to get the boat ready and take it down to Chicago for the Chicago to Mackinac race. I said, "Yeah, absolutely." We agreed that we wanted to pull the boat so we could scrub the bottom clean. The day comes, my friend and I get to the boat, we pull it out of our slip, we take it to the hoist well. The dockmaster puts the front sling, no problem, puts the back sling. I said, "Hey, you need to move that sling farther back. I'm afraid you've got it over the prop shaft." He says, "Hey kid, we do this every day. Get out of my face." So they pull the boat out. Sure enough, that aft sling is right over the prop shaft. It comes out, the prop shaft is bent up 45 degrees. They put the boat back in, move the sling back, pull the boat out, and I'm pissed. So I run to call my dad. I said, "Hey Dad, this is what happened." He says, "I'll take care of it. Just get the boat ready. Everything will be ready by tomorrow." Well, we couldn't sleep on the boat that night. It was up in the sling. We come back to the boat in the morning. The boat's in the slip. I went underneath, checked out. The prop shaft looks good. I don't see any issues. We head out for Chicago. Now, Chicago is a good night sail. It takes at least one day to get there. We had some decent weather. A bunch of friends of mine were with me. It was a great time. Somewhere in the evening, the steering started to squeak a little bit. We pull into Chicago, get the boat all situated. The crew starts filing in over the next few days. We take out for the race. We start the race. Had some phenomenal Burt burgers. That's another story. First day, no issues. That night, the squeak goes to a groan. Second day, the groan progresses. It gets a little bit deeper. By the end of the third day, we're heading up to the northern part of Lake Michigan, and we had to go through this area called Gray's Reef, which is it's basically a channel that all the boats have to go through, and it goes due north. And as we're approaching that, the guy at the helm says, "Hey, I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we got that emergency tiller up here." And my dad said, "I was thinking the same thing." So he went below and he brings up this 4-foot long stainless steel tube. Now, we had a wheel on our boat that was up to here. It was a good 5-foot wheel. And I don't know what the ratio is, 1 to 20, 1 to 50, 1 to 70, I don't know, but it was really easy to steer that boat with this big wheel. We get to Gray's Reef, we turn north. As soon as we turned east, we turn through Gray's Reef, we start pointed to the Mackinac Bridge. As soon as that wheel comes over, you hear this loud pop. It fails. The wheel is totally limp. We popped that wheel off, got that emergency tiller on, and the ratio, whatever that steering ratio was, down to 1 to 1. We had to have 2 guys on this wrestling the tiller. After about 15 minutes, we all calmed down, knowing that we could control the boat at least. We finished the race later that evening. I climbed under and I noticed the stainless steel cable, that's the steering cable, was totally frayed. There's a series of pulleys that the steering cables go through. Those were all made of brass. They had to take our rudder off to change the prop shaft. They didn't align the steering cables. These brass pulleys were all chewed up. There were brass filings all over the deck. We took the plate off. We figured out what we needed. My dad made a bunch of phone calls and he said, nobody's got this part anywhere in Michigan. I had to call CNC Yachts in Toronto, Ontario. They're shipping the parts to us. They'll be here by Wednesday. The package arrived on Wednesday. We pulled out the parts. They all match. We got to work. So I went down below with just running shorts. I took off my shirt. Below decks, it was like a furnace, like a sauna without the stove, right? My friend and I spent 6 hours putting this thing together. It was hot. There was no airflow. We finally got it done. We come up, we're just dog tired. A buddy of mine said, hey, what's wrong with your back? Well, I had been laying on bare fiberglass for 6 hours. That's why my back was all cut up. We pull out of the slip. I turn the wheel to the left. The boat goes to the right. I didn't cross the cables. Deja vu, right? So I climbed back under there. It only took us 3 hours. For a half hour, I tried to figure out how I could do this without disassembling the entire system. But I learned a lesson. I've gotten my signals crossed quite a few times since then, but I have never failed to cross my steering cables. That reminds me of a joke. Aya and Pekka are an 80-year-old couple living near Market, Michigan. Aya calls the newspaper one day and says, yeah, Pekka died. And the newspaper man says, oh, Aya, I'm so sorry. I know he was sick for a long time. I'm so sorry about that. Do you want to put an obituary in? And Aya says, yeah, I do. He says, what do you want it to say? And Aya says, Pekka died. He says, well, Aya, we have a 5-word minimum at least. Do you want to say anything more? She said, yeah, Pekka died, boat for sale. Hey, my name is Rusty Korhonen. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this story, check out the other ones I've got set up on the end page here. Please check out my channel. Please hit the like and subscribe button. My name is Rusty Korhonen. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching.